Everybody, it's Sharon here, coming to you live on Essential Stencils page for a fun DIY. We're talking fun Christmas things today, and I have several gift-giving ideas. Well, one to get going. Let me just have a look and see, make sure we can see comments here on my live. And let me know where you're tuning in from, all over the countryside, sometimes around the world. I'm from Australia, if you didn't already see that. Let me just see where I can see the comments. Here we go. Yeah, definitely let me know where you're tuning in from. And I am going to be doing some fun ideas with our Stencil of the Month Club stencils and with our set that's called, the set is named Love is Brewing because that's the name of one of the stencils in the set. There's the Love is Brewing right there. And there's some other ones on here. I'm just going to double check. There we go. Yes, I can start to see comments now. Hi, Silver Fox. Hi, Tonya. Barb's here from Wisconsin. Awesome. Amazing. I love it when you guys join in the conversation with each other. And don't forget to share. Hit that little button. Sprinkle the love around Facebook land. You can tag a friend. Send it in there into Messenger to them. Let them know that we're doing some fun DIY projects today, Christmassy themed. You can see I've got my Christmas tree up in the background here. Thank you. Yeah, I love the Christmas tree. We've got a few fun things there. So I will be stenciling from this set today. The set is called Love is Brewing. As you're jumping on here, I'll just have a little show and tell with that. And it also comes with a bonus. So I'll show you the stencils first. There's Love is Brewing, then there's Coffee Bar, and then there's But First Coffee. I think I'm going to be using that one today for a fun sign idea. And I've done some of these fun farmhouse sign ideas before. But there's a bonus here, and you get these little coffee bean icons plus the coffee cups. Lots of fun that you can add to your coffee signs as you do them. So to do that, I'm going to be using an upcycled canvas, and I've also got some fun goodies in here that we'll be stenciling on in a minute too. So tell your friends, tell everyone we're here. Hi Jennifer, how are you? Elisa, Laura, you're new. Oh yes, please tell us if you're new to the lives, or if this is the first time watching me, or if you're brand new to stenciling. We'd love to know that too in the comments, because there are so many helpful people here and in the Stencil of the Month Club Facebook group, which is amazing. If you are in the Stencil of the Month Club, you will know that there's lots of fun inspiration over there. All right, so the sign that I'm going to be making today, which is a fun gift idea, and honestly, I know that some of you are sign makers, and that's what you do for a living. Some of you have markets that you go to, have antique booths in antique malls, sign kind of things like that. So I just wanted to show you, this is another fun idea, and you'll see that I love to do this kind of thing. This was an old canvas. Now this is a really good solid wooden frame. If you can see the thickness of that, it's really quite chunky. And all I've done, you can actually still see the staple marks where the canvas was up on here, that if you look really closely, there's little staple holes there. The other thing is, you just never know what you're going to find when you take a canvas off the wooden frame. Now when I go op shopping, that's what we call it here in Australia, we go to op shops, you call them thrift stores, charity stores, whatever you like to call them. When I do go to those thrift stores, I like to look around for canvases that I might be able to just remove the canvas from and use the frame. And then I add a bit of MDF or plywood, which this one I've painted black because I'm going to make a sign that will look like that really nice, fun farmhouse sign kind of a look. Okay, so I like to look at the back of the canvas first and just make sure you've got a nice, good, solid wood frame. Some of the frames, they might be just a thin MDF, or some of them might have a bar in the middle of them. If they're larger, they sometimes have that. So I don't choose those ones. So I'm giving you some tips here. I'm giving you some of my sneaky tips from when I go op shopping, charity store, thrifting, you would call it in the USA. So yeah, that's some of the ideas and tips that I'll give you. The other thing is, you never know what you're going to find. And on this one, the front side, because I don't want to use the back where it's got all these staple holes in it, But the front side even has some really heavy duty staples that are in the corner. And often you won't, let me just scroll down here so I can see. Often you won't see those right away until you take the canvas off, that you know that they're there. But you know what, I'm just going to go with that and leave it as part of the character of that wood. Now when I do use my frame and I add my sign to the back of it, I will, before I add the sign to the back, I will wax this with some black wax, or you could use like an antiquing wax to create a lovely dark finish on that wood, change the color of it. You could use a white wax. You could even paint the frame white to, you know, or you could paint your board white and do black stenciling. So many different ideas. But one of the things I wanted to mention was that the stencil that we'll be using today, the Love is Brewing one. Now the link for that is up in the description of the live, and Essential Stencil, we'll add that here to the pinned comments also. But this set, if you don't have it already, it is, well, here anyway, and I've heard over there too, is, yeah, the coffee themed stencil signs really sell well. I do have a booth in an antique shop here in Brisbane, and every time I do a coffee bar or a But First Coffee or any kind of coffee sign, they're really great for gift ideas. People love them. People love to put them at their coffee stations and things like that. So this is almost like a bit of a chalkboard look. And so what I'll be doing today is putting, and now what I did was I tested first, so you can just, when you've cut out your frame at the back, so just measure the size of the canvas that you have purchased from your op shop. And I looked at the back, but see how this one, let's see, we've got to just make sure. So I stick the sign behind it, and I'll just point you down here so we can see a little bit closer now to what I'm working on. Don't worry, I've also got some fun ideas for our Stencil of the Month Club coming up too, so don't go anywhere. And don't forget that Essential Stencil gives away prizes. So there we go, so that fits inside, whereas if I tried, say, the coffee bar, that one may not fit. So depending on the size canvas you get, see, that's just a little bit too far over, because you do want to leave a little bit of space here at the side. Or you could just change up your coffee bar sign, and we could tape off the word bar and do the word coffee. Oops, I'm trying to get hold of that there. You could do the word coffee and then add the word bar underneath, and you could even possibly have room for that 24 hours section that's down the bottom there. However, today I'm simply going to be using this one, But First Coffee. Now, once I've done this, I want to go on to my Stencil of the Month project, because I think it's going to be a fun idea. And I have this crate, tea towels, and an apron for a fabulous gift idea, and it's baking. It's baking related. So there's that. So let's first of all get onto our sign making here, and that's casting a little shadow from my light that's up there. I'll have to shift this around a bit. Let's just pop it to the side, shall we? Okay, so centering that really well, and I'm going to grab my Essential Stencil brushes, which we always love to use, and I've got my piece of cardboard that I'm going to offload onto. That's, oh, I was thinking it was backwards. No, we are correct. We are the right way around. I'm just seeing if I can see. Sue says, I'm not a coffee fan, but always learn something useful from the ambassadors. Oh, Sue, thank you so much. And that doesn't matter that you're not a coffee fan. You can use these tips for any of the signs you want to make. And don't forget, I've got another fun project in a second, because this is a super easy one. And if you follow my page, I restore stuff. I am going to go live and show you how to wax this frame after I finish my live here. On Essential Stencil page. So there's that to look forward to. So join me live over on my Facebook page, which is I Restore Stuff, anywhere on Instagram and all of that kind of thing. So, oh, Jermaine, your tree's fun. Been doing lots of Christmas stencils. Yes. You got this winter snowman. Love it. Yes, that's awesome. So let me just see. Okay, guys. So I've got my white paint here, and if you've watched any of my lives, I just use whatever I have on hand, and I'm a furniture painter, so I just use furniture paint. It's great for stenciling signs and things like that, especially if you're working on wood and other painted surfaces. So I've painted the background in a black matte paint, so it's similar to a chalk style paint. The furniture paint I'm using is a mineral paint. This is an Australian brand, but you can buy any kind of acrylic based good quality paint that you might like to use over there. Now, I could use my painter's tape, which I thought I brought out here somewhere on my table. There we go. So we could use that to just tape off this area. Only, okay, I saw that comment slide by. Who was that? Joyce Ann. Maybe, girls, maybe we need to make a sign that says, but first, anything but coffee. That would turn a head or two. That's funny. Yeah, Connie says I'm a big coffee fan, even wearing a coffee themed t-shirt. I do. I actually have this in a t-shirt, on a t-shirt. If you saw that live, I painted this on a t-shirt some time ago. I think it was probably when this stencil first came out, but okay, so I've got my paint on my brush and oops, let me see. We're going to have to point you down further. Closer, I mean, down, down, down. Here we go. We want to see the sign also. All right, there we go. Now you can see. Okay, so I've got the brush filled with paint into the bristles and I've offloaded here as much as I can. Before it dries out, let me get some down on here. Oh, that B is a little wriggly. I don't know if you can see that movement there, but the bridges in there are because it's kind of long and skinny letters. So I'm going to just go downwards a little bit and just be very careful with some of your bridges that might have a little bit of wriggle room because of the nature of the stencil or the letters. But that one was just wiggling a bit. So I'm just doing a careful pounce and squish. Yeah, Roxanne says, I need the coffee bar stencil. It is fun. There's so much fun. There's 3 in this set, plus the bonus of the little coffee beans and the coffee cup icons that you can add to a stencil. And the link is right there in the description of the live. Use my code IRestoreStuff and you can get 10% off any of the stencils here. Okay, I've offloaded, but that one felt like I didn't offload enough. So just over here, we've got, thank you, Kimberly. Kimberly sprinkled and shared the live. So thank you so much for that. And guys, don't forget, at the end of our live, we'll be giving away prizes. So stay tuned, join in the conversation because that's where Essential Stencil helps us to pick our live winners from. Now, sometimes you might want to just pretend that I like the chalk effect that sometimes white paint on a blackboard surface gives. And if you don't make the stenciling too solid and just use a bit of a rough technique of not filling in completely, and I'll show you this a little closer so if we can see that there, how the B just there's some, the U and the T I think are a little bit more filled in than the B. It's just kind of got that little bit of variation there. Now I'm running out of paint on my brush, just going to dip that in again, but like I always say, it's better to have 2 thin coats rather than have your paint on too thick and risk getting it bleeding under the edges of the stencil. So we don't want that. So we just have less and less and less on your brush. Okay, Pam's asking, do you have to use a certain paint with the stencils or can you use acrylic paint with them? You can use acrylic paint with them. In fact, the mineral paint that I'm using is an acrylic based paint. Water-based is perfect, any water-based paints. I just like to make sure it's not, there are some, I think there are some crafty type paints that are quite thin. Just don't use your kiddie paints or anything like that. Use a good acrylic paint that's kind of, yeah, everyone's saying acrylic paint works great. Thanks guys for jumping in there and And there are a lot of people who have been doing stenciling here for a very long time, and quite helpful in the comments to point you in the right direction. And if you do have any questions, and I do miss them today, I always love to go back and go through to make sure I haven't missed any, and I'll answer your questions after the live. But I was saying before, this is a fun gift idea if you're starting to think about creating gifts for Christmas. And again, I've got kind of a rough look going there. Offloading. And some people still will comment that they have a struggle with the paint bleeding under the stencils, and I usually just remind them that it all usually, well, 99.9% of the time is because you still have too much paint on your brush. So if you are seeing bleeding underneath, it means you need to offload the brush more on your paper or card or whatever. And I always tell people, practice on a piece of cardboard first. So put your stencil on a cardboard, just do a couple of letters until you've got the right amount of paint and you get the feel of it. So there's nothing to be afraid of when you're practicing on a piece of cardboard. In fact, if you just made a horrible mistake on your actual board, it's literally just paint, and you could just sand it off and paint it on. The trick comes when you're doing it on fabric. And we'll be painting on some fabric again today too. Going to do another fun baking idea. I've got an apron to stencil on, and a tea towel, and a little crate using our Stencil of the Month Club stencils. Has anyone got the November, I think it is, Stencil of the Month Club set yet? If you don't, and you're not in the Stencil of the Month Club, you could join for 50% off using my code, 50% off the first month, using my code I Restore Stuff. You can use my ambassador code for any of the essential stencil products too and get 10% off. All right, so we've got a good coverage there. And so it's not meant to look like solid white. I like it when it's looking like I've just written that on a chalkboard or something. Okay, so let's peel that off and have a good look. And you can see some areas are a bit stronger in color than the others. Deborah's asking how many brushes are in the set. There's 4 brushes in the set, and they're all different sizes from large to small. They've got, I think that's a 5/8, so I'm guessing that's a 5/8 inches. There's 3/4, a 7/8, and a half. So that's the 4 in the set there. Now I'm going to use just a wet cloth to wrap that in while I organise myself here. Now I just wanted to show you what it'll look like when I get the frame on it, and then we'll start on our fun Stencil of the Month Club project. So if I add that frame, if you missed the beginning bit, I gave you all my top tips for finding thrifted frames in the thrift stores and what to look for. And if you follow my page after this, I'm going to go live and show you how you can add some black wax to this if you haven't used a wax brush before. I'll give you tips on that. That's great furniture painting tips as well. So here's the first thing, guys. So how cool is that? So that set is called Love is Brewing, and you can get 10% off that set if you use my code I Restore Stuff. The link is right there in the description of the live. So now I'll put that aside to go wash later, and let's have a look at our Stencil of the Month Club set. And I'm going to be using my crate. Now if you've got kids around, they might enjoy this one too, because you could help do something like a teacher gift. I thought that might be a fun idea. If you're into baking, this will be helpful for you too. I'm going to pop that right to the side. Let's see. Okay. I'm trying to see what I can see here on my screen. And don't forget, guys, we do have the Christmas, I'm just trying to see if I can see my messages. No. We do have our Christmas stencils coming up really soon. They're launching very soon. And there'll be lots of discounts to have. It'll be Essential Stencils' biggest sale ever, I believe. I'm going to use my white paint again. And we've got an apron to use, now this is a gift idea. This crate I actually bought at our local IKEA, all right? It's got the little handle grooves, and all I had to do was, you know, as with everything with IKEA, is screw it together. But it came already painted, pre-painted. Now most of the crates that I get from IKEA have been, up until this point, bare, and I've had to stain them myself. But this one came with, I saw two types there. There was this greyish wash colour, charcoaly colour, and there was one that had a whitewash on it. And then of course you could still buy the ones that were unstained, so just raw pine. So this is a fun idea. I don't know if you have an IKEA that's local to you, but with these ready painted and stained, they were fabulous. So that's that. We're going to be doing something on here. Let me just show you the Stencil of the Month Club stencils in a minute. We've got a tea towel, and my idea is, oh, and an apron. What are you doing there, Mr. Elf? What are you doing in my box? I don't think that you will be very helpful today, because I know the mischief that you get up to. So let's just put you aside, because these little things, I've seen people's Facebook posts and Instagram stories. Those little elves get up to a lot of mischief. So I also have a gift card idea for, that was for the kids, or the kids in us. A gift card idea to go with the box, all right? So imagine teacher gift, loved one gift, friend gift, making a little hamper type thing. Now this apron idea, I said to my daughter Tori, oh, I wish I had an apron here that I could just stencil on today, because I didn't get to the store and buy one. But guess what? Here's one she prepared earlier. She made this one in her sewing class at school, probably in about 10th grade or 9th, I don't know. But isn't that cute? She made this apron with this fabric, and she said, Mum, this is reversible. You can do a Christmas design on the back, and then I can use it for a Christmas apron. So even though the back doesn't have a pocket, she said I can even stencil on the pocket if I wanted to. So there you go. So the back is going to be reversible. We're going to have a Christmas, oops, I'm just bumping my microphone there. We're going to have a Christmas apron on the back. So there's some fun ideas. Now let's have a look at our Stencil of the Month Club. You would have seen this last week and this week through the ambassadors. If you don't have the set already, it is still available. You can get the Stencil of the Month Club set. I believe it's still available. Is it? What's the date today? It's the 11th. I think you've still got time, guys. That little stinker. So, thanks, Carol, for humouring me. Okay, so yes, she is a very talented one. She loves the crafting stuff. She loves painting. She's done some beautiful artworks that I sometimes post on Instagram if you follow me there at I Restore Stuff. Here's our Stencil of the Month Club set. Now, if you haven't joined already, they do come with 3 huge stencil sets like this. So here's the first one. It's got the Mrs. Claus Cookie Company, cookies, pies, candy. Then the Santa stop here. We have cookies. I'll put it over there so you can read that a little better. So I'm going to use this top one to put on the crate here. That's the first thing I'm going to do. The other one in this set is the Gingerbread House and the little gingerbread boy and girl there. And we also have different sayings. So these are great for putting on things like the apron and the tea towel. So I asked Tori which one she'd like on her apron. And we're going to do Baking Spirits Bright, because that sounds really cool, like an apron. And I thought this one would be really super fun for I don't know, grandchild or children's t-shirt, official cookie tester. I would wear that, actually. I do love testing the cookies. I like to eat the cookie dough. Baked with Love, you could add that. We're going to add that one to the card. Christmas calories don't count. How fun is that? Now, with Stencil of the Month Club, when you join the club, Connie, we'll put a link there. Connie's asking how much is the Stencil of the Month Club. That depends if you order, if you want to join for 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. I can't remember even what the plans are, but stencilofthemonthclub.com, and you'll be able to see all of the options there. But don't forget to use, Connie, my code, I Restore Stuff, at the checkout to get 50% off your first month, and that will include these guys. So this is that Mag is asking, is this the new Stencil of the Month? This one is the November one. So yes, if you're in the club, you would have got this one already, I think. But there is still time to join the club and get these fun stencils. And this is called an add-on. So at the Stencil of the Month Club, they will always feature an add-on item. Just for an extra $10, you can get this extra add-on. That's an option, but the sizes of these 3 stencils is what you'll get every month delivered to your Stencil of the Month Club address. So let's get started. We've got the little crate here. I'll point you down to what we're working on. Let's see if we can see that in the shot. And I might have to stand up for this one. We're going to do the side of the crate. So this is the IKEA crate. It's irestorestuff.com. So I think someone just put a link in there, but it's actually irestorestuff.com. So that was not the correct one, but yeah, thank you so much for letting people know. That's where you can find my furniture painting and everything. Also, if you go to I Restore Stuff page after this live, I'll be doing some waxing on our frame over there. All right, so here's Mrs. Claus Cookie Company. And here we go. I've got these little tapes that I can just tape onto the side there that might help hold it together. I could put a bit more on than that. But first of all, we want to have a look at where, see this crack in the center of the crate. You can line it up where you'd like. And if I put that if I put the stencil in the center vertically, then the crack will go right across the Cookie Company section. So you can decide, do I want that to sit at the top? And therefore, in this case, the C from Mrs. Claus is going to just be a little bit too off the top of that. But you know, it's up to you. You can't really shift it down. I think I'm just going to go with it and stick it right across let the line be a part of the look. Because when you look at some of the old vintage crates and things like that, often their wording will just be stamped on or stenciled on, and they don't worry about that line right there. It kind of gives it that rustic look, I think. Yeah, so someone said that IKEA is miles away, but I do, if you have the link to my Amazon shop there, I've got some in there where I've got a list of, stenciling ideas and things like that. I do have some places there that you can find similar crates. So you can look up that or ask me for the link and I can send you the Amazon shop link. All right, so we're just offloading that paint again. Oops, you probably can't see that. Let's see. I'm trying to scroll so I can see the comments but see the camera angle. There we go. All right. Maybe down a little more and I can tuck that under here so we can see Mrs. Claus's Cookie Company. So I've offloaded my brush. Remember, you might have seen that at the beginning. If you're just joining me now, I'm just using an acrylic paint and I've offloaded as much paint as I can off the brush so that we don't get bleeding underneath the stencil. So centering that now, we're making a fun gift idea. Now who's into baking Christmas goodies? I'm imagining some fun and I'm giving you lots of ideas here today. So it's not just about the stenciling, it's the gift ideas. So if you bake gingerbread cookies, anything like that, wouldn't that be a fun idea to pack up a bunch of cookies and put them in here? Or say you know that your loved one or your friend or your teacher who you are going to gift this to loves baking themselves. Can you imagine if you have a baker, a person who loves cooking in your life? This would be the perfect gift because you would fill this with all the ingredients, all the fun holiday ingredients to make holiday cookies or whatever. You could make it into a hot cocoa kind of crate filled with all the fun things, all the Christmassy things that you would think might be fun for the holidays. So lots of different ideas. I'd love to hear some of your ideas. What would you fill the crate with? Yes, I did say it came from IKEA, Elizabeth, so it is this one is from IKEA, but yes, I do have other links in my Amazon store ideas that have crates listed there as well. All right, so see how I'm just kind of going round and round on this rolling pin here. Now my brush has not enough paint on it. We just dip it back in. I always wipe it off the edge and then offload it onto the cardboard here. Linda says her sisters and you bake tons of cookies. That's amazing. I have a scented candle that we had burning last night that's called apple pie. Oh, and that just makes me think of Christmas cooking. There are so many fun scented candles out there now. You could fill this crate with candles, scented candles. Wouldn't that be fun? But let me know some of your ideas of what you would pop in your crate if you have someone that you would gift this idea to. Cookies, pies. And again, like I was saying on my previous sign that I just made earlier, the coffee sign, if you are stenciling quite roughly like I am now, it doesn't matter that some of the letters may be less filled in than others, because that gives it that rustic look. In fact, if this is probably a little bit too solid, I might even go over with a touch of sandpaper. Oh, stuck these on too hard. I might go over this with a little bit of sandpaper and just roughen it up a little bit. There we go, look at that. So Mrs. Claus Cookie Co. And you can still understand what that says, can't you? You can still see that it says Mrs. Claus Cookie Co. Even though we've got that crack on the center line there, you still know what it says. But if you did want to shift it, that's up to you. You can shift and tape off the letters any which way you choose. So those are some of the fun ones. That's only one part of the excuse me, Stencil of the Month Club set. Another idea, and I'm not going to do this today, I did have all these grandiose plans, but you could literally get your baking dough, gingerbread baking dough. Picture this here, guys. Baking dough all rolled out, get a little, what do you call it? Some kind of little thing you can prick and mark out, trace around the little gingerbread man, okay? Then, you know, put that on your baking tray, bake your cookies using the stencils to outline them. Or get a knife and just pop that in there, because that would be perfect. You could do that. Then as it bakes, I'm assuming that sometimes it will spread, be a little bit larger, but let's say it's finished cooking, finished baking. Then you take your stencil, put it over the top of the cookie, and use some frosting to outline that on your cookie, because the cookie will, after it's baked, I'm assuming it'll come out a little bit further than here. So then you've got some nice white outlined gingerbread cookies. Who thinks that's a great idea? I think that would be a fun idea to do, the baking idea. Then you've got the whole gingerbread house. You could just really, you know, that would be a fun idea to use with cookies also. So the third part for the set is what I'm going to use now, and I'll set my crate aside and we'll paint on our apron that my daughter made. So she did this, created this side with a little pocket on it, said that we could use it today to stencil on. Now this is double-sided, it's quite thick, and I know that the paint's not going to go through here to the table, but if you were worried, you could put a piece of cardboard like this on the back of the apron. So now it's going to be reversible. You can use it for Christmas and other occasions. So you might want to find yourself your own reversible stencil. I've lost my other stencil, guys. Here it is. So the third part of the set for our Stencil of the Month idea, or Stencil of the Month set. And don't forget, you can use my code IRestoreStuff and get 50% off your first month for the Stencil of the Month Club. All right, so Tori wanted this one, Baking Spirits Bright. So I'm going to try and center that as best I can to the apron. Maybe I'll put it further up the top, because that's where, let me just bolt that down here. That's where I think that you'd sort of see it, wouldn't you? So imagining that's there we go. Yep, I reckon that's a good placement. Just going to go with that. Debbie's saying, okay, with the gingerbread cookie idea, you could dust it with powdered sugar. Absolutely. What a great idea. Yes, perfect. I love it. I love your ideas. Keep them coming. So yeah, the cookie idea. I want to see someone try that. If you're in the Stencil of the Month Club, let me know if you've tried that before in the Facebook group. I want to see pictures. or if you're going to try it, I think that'd be a fun idea. Okay, here we go. I've offloaded my brush on the piece of cardboard down here, and away we go, making sure I'm straight. Baking spirits bright. And yes, I am stenciling on fabric, and I always get the question, how do you seal it? So with any kind of acrylic paint you can use. There are fabric paints out there. You can use those if you want to. I'm just using a ordinary mineral paint that I use for furniture, but I've painted on fabric lots and lots of times, and it comes out great in the wash if you set it. So I set it using either a hot, dry iron, and obviously you'd use iron on the reverse, or pop it in the dryer for 15 minutes, a hot clothes dryer. Or the other idea is, that I've just discovered recently, is getting your hairdryer, putting it on hot, and then just waving it over the stencil. That will set it too. So anything that involves heat that you can think of that would set the stencil would be great. Okay. Oops. Okay, dipping that in again and offloading the brush. So if you can't see that, I'm just offloading the majority of the paint off the brush, and that's how we get it nice and clear for stenciling, so that it doesn't load the paint in and underneath the stencil, because we don't want those fuzzy edges that we call bleed. It bleeds under the stencil. Again, I love the white on the black. Lovely, kind of stands out. Let's have a look and see. I'm holding down the stencil, just going to lift that. Oh, it's, yes, I think I like that. Turned out great. Baking spirits bright. So now Tori has a Christmas apron, and we could even, you know, you could even, I don't know if she wants this, but you could even add the gingerbread people, you know, to your stencil like that. So we can add the apron to our crate then. That would be great. Now, if you are in the Stencil of the Month Club, I always post pictures there and on my I Restore Stuff page of the things that we've made this week. So we've got our stencil there. Let's do an apron, and then I'll do a gift card to go with, not an apron, a tea towel, a gift card. Now, I did a little one of these last week. And again, I know that the stencil's thick enough that it's not going to come through the through to the table. However, let's see, where's my cloth? Just going to pop that in the cloth for a minute, because I'll be using a black brush to stencil for this one. Now, there are tea towels on my Amazon affiliate link, which I will post that. If you ask, I will pop that in the comments for you. Now there's this one with the stripes down. I did that last week. I also have a range in there in the Amazon shop that is these farmhouse looking tea towels. So they have the stripes on the side. So you could make one like this. In fact, let's do one of these today. Now in the set that I got these in, they had blue stripes, green stripes and red stripes. So I've already used up all my red and green stripe stencils, tea towels for Christmas gift ideas. So therefore I was just left with the blue, and I'll have to order some more. But they are selling nicely in my shop too, if you're needing other ideas for your shop. So just in case, if you were concerned, you could pop the little cardboard under your tea towel there if you wanted to. Don't want to get it's probably not going to be enough. Okay, so just another little tea towel idea. Christmas calories don't count. I think that's a fun one. Let's do that for a tea towel. That would also make a great t-shirt. I'm pretty confident that it's not going to come through to my table. Anyway, we can wipe it down if it does. Okay, let's see. Deborah said, I was interested in the winter Christmas bundle with the rub-on transfers, but noticed they were sold out. No, they're not sold out. They aren't even available yet. They are about to launch on Friday. Friday is your excitement day. And there will be big sales, big surprises, big It's going to be great. You can stack ambassador codes and all kinds of things. So stay tuned to the ES page and stay tuned to your emails. If you get your emails from Essential Stencil, that news coming to you very soon. All right, here are the brushes. Again, if you don't have Essential Stencil brushes, they come in a set of 4. You can also use my code for these, irestorestuff.com. Let's do, I'm wondering if we should do red or just black. You could do red or green or black or any of your Christmas colours. I might just use the black. Andrea said she's coming in late. We have had a jam-packed live today, Andrea, with lots of Christmas gift ideas. So we are going through another gift idea here now, and that is creating a tea towel for a crate that we have stenciled earlier for Mrs. Claus's cookies, and people have been letting us know their fun ideas and what they would pack their crate with. Thank you, Peggy, for answering that. Yeah, they will show sold out until they launch on Friday. So offloading that brush again. Sorry, I should have showed you that as much as I can. And then we've got it in the center here. So these are the Stencil of the Month Club stencils. If you're not in the club, you can still get these if you join today. Stencilofthemonthclub.com. Yes, you'll definitely have to go back and watch the replay. We have even had an encounter with an elf. We've got to go back to watch that. Found him trying to make mischief. Well, he wasn't. He was just sitting there, but I know what those elves are up to. Stay tuned. And after my live today here on Essential Stencils page, I'm going to be going live over on my own I Restore Stuff page on Facebook. And I believe it is 7 p.m. EST. Well, it's nearly getting towards 8 over there. I'm in Australia, so my time is totally different. And you guys went and had a time change this week, so then I have to kind of figure out my live times again. I'm thankful that I got it right today. Joanne's asking, do you have to prepare the tea towel in any way? Well, you can if you want to, but I didn't. I'm a little bit lazy when it comes to pre-washing things. I'm a bit impatient, so I didn't, but I have stenciled lots of fabric, clothing, tea towels, all sorts of things over the years, and I've not had a problem with it, coming off or fading too quickly. It just washes nicely as long as I set it, and setting it involves heat, so either a hot iron, a hot dryer, or a hot hair dryer. We'll set the paint. So here's our tea towel. We can do a bunch of these. Like I said, in the Amazon link, I've got these. They've got these in a set which has the blue, a green, and red. And I've used up all my green and red ones. Not sure if I'll be able to order more before Christmas season. So there you go. And now, so there's another idea that you can also add to your booth if you're a sign maker or have markets and that kind of thing. Yeah, Diane says she puts hers in the dryer to set the paint. Yep, real super easy way to do it. Diane, you made a Thanksgiving tablecloth. That is great. I've made table runners too and that kind of thing. So Christmas calories don't count. Isn't that a fun tea towel to have hanging in your kitchen as you bake? All right, the last idea to have with our gift crate that we've got so far. Now imagine you guys are going to do all the work and fill that with cookies and goodies and things like that, but these are just a fun few ideas that you can add to your crate to give as a gift. And this, you can't see this, but let's see if I can hold that up close. It's got some vintage writing on the background. So you can use any kind of Christmas paper background, just imagine scrapbooking paper kind of background for your card, whatever background you choose. I'm going to use this as the card that we would use for our gift giving. And imagine that I've baked my goodies. I'm going to put baked with love on a card to add to my gift basket or my gift crate. So we just pop that straight over the top and put it down, and there was something on the table there. we go. So that just fits on, this is a A5 size card, folded in half. So this one will fit on there. Some of them may not, but you can just choose a card stock that's the right size and add that on. Let me just flip this over because it looks like this edge is a little longer. Okay. Centering that there. Now I can't use my tape for this one because it's it's off the edge. The stencil goes off the edge. You can't use your tape to tape it down. I am looking forward to going back and reading some of the comments because I don't get to do that as you're going along here sometimes. Kathy says tea towels are now a favourite thing to stencil on. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Okay, so here I'm just moving this up so you can see. I had a lot of black paint on the brush, offloading that, working it into the bristles. Yes, you can definitely buy direct from Essential Stencils, but you won't get this in anything but their Stencil of the Month club. And so if you are in the club, you can even buy past stencils in their club shop. But there are some, as a club member, that are exclusive to the club, but they do have a massive range of stencils just at essentialstencil.com. And if you use my code, I restore stuff at essentialstencil.com, you'll get 10% off anything you order from there anytime using my ambassador code. Okay, again, just stenciling really carefully. Now this card has a slightly glossy surface, which kind of makes it a bit tricky to stencil on because I can see brush lines on the card. Oh yeah, someone mentioned the Essential Stencil app. Larry, Christy, Aguilera. Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. We do, the Essential Stencil does have an app and it's really easy to order off there. So when you're ordering, don't forget to type in where there's the coupon code. You can type in I restore stuff in the coupon code section to make sure you get your 10% off there when you're using the app. Okay, so if I wanted to, I could let that dry and then do a second coat. Since I can see some of those brush marks, it was kind of a glossy surface, so that makes things a little bit different. But that's okay, it's just an idea for you to go with. And so that may show up, I'm not sure if you'll see that clearly, but you may see that it's just a little bit lighter and faded looking, but it still looks okay. Baked with love. So here we go, guys. Let's have a look at all the things we've made today on our live. And don't forget, we have prize winners today, so don't go anywhere because Essential Stencil's giving away 3 lucky winners. I think 3 prizes from our live today. And thank you so much for sharing our live too, guys. Let's go over the things we've stenciled. Now we used a couple of sets. We used our coffee set for our fun gift idea sign. But first coffee, using a recycled timber frame that had a canvas on it. So I'm going to go with use this frame to show you how to add a black wax to this. On my own page, which is I Restore Stuff, after this live here, it'll probably give me like, you know, several minutes. But if you like and if you follow and get notifications from my page, you'll be able to join in there. So we've got our crate. Here's our crate with Mrs. Claus's Cookie Company. We've got our gift card, Baked with Love, imagining you can do a lot of baking and fill it with goodies. Then we've got a tea towel that says Christmas calories don't count, because of course they don't. And then we've got an apron that we've got saying Baking Spirits Bright. So there's our apron, there's our fun ideas. Let's have a look and see who our winners are. And I can pop this up a little so I can see you. Let's see. And we've got our sign in here. I want to say congratulations to the winners and thank you all so much for watching today. So let's see who the winners are. Thank you, Joyce Ann. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you so much. Yes, it's a fun themed gift set. Honestly, yeah. Okay, I can see it now. Congratulations to our winners. And the winners are Beth and Roxanne and Andrea. Beth, Roxanne, Andrea. congratulations, you are the winners of the Essential Stencil prize today. Now, if you're watching the replay, don't forget to comment the word replay in the next 24 hours and you have another chance of winning a Essential Stencil prize. So there's our fun ideas from today. Thank you so much for watching. Join me in, let's say, about half an hour, maybe half an hour, over on my page, I Restore Stuff, and visit me anywhere on the web, irestorestuff.com, or I Restore Stuff at Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, any of the places for lots more fun tutorials. That's all for our live today, and I thank you so much for watching. I will see you next week with another Essential Stencil live. Don't forget, Friday is the big day. All things Christmas coming out with Essential Stencil. Woo! See you then. Bye.